Well, today I'm working on a Honda Jazz. It has suffered from pretty miserable brake performance. Used to have a Honda Jazz with the drum brake on the back, and that never gave any problems at all. But this is a newer version. This is a 2006, almost 2007 model, which has the wonderful disc brake system. So what's happened over time, mainly with the weather you get here in Scotland, is that the original calipers have seized up. So fitted new calipers, they were just put on yesterday. It's pouring rain when I finished the job off. It's also had underneath, it's had a new brake pipe. The other one was corroded. The jack stand's not at the best angle, but it's all supported by the jack, and I've got a lump of wood under the sill on the wheel, but I digress. So the thing I'm trying to do now, which is another problem with the Honda Jazz, brilliant little cars, but there's certainly a few things that should have been done a bit better, and that's the handbrake performance. So this one uses a separate cable operated solution for the handbrake. Hopefully you can see that cable which leads into the handbrake mechanism. Now, I've actually already put this back together, tried the handbrake, and it's, to put it quite mildly, it's fucking shit, really. I mean, it'll hold just, but it's certainly not, it's not like any other car. So supposedly, in order to do that, you need to obviously remove the centre console and then slacken off the adjuster for the handbrake. Obviously the handbrake's down. These cables are, it's totally slackened off. You can see I've taken the nut off. The adjuster's here. So there's no tension, well, presumably there's no tension in this whatsoever. So the theory is, and I'll stop here. So the theory is, I need to double check the range of motion for the adjuster, or the lever I should say, that pushes inwards and then pushes this screw against the pads, and then it obviously acts as a handbrake. But with the Jazz, even Honda supposedly says you shouldn't leave it with the handbrake on only. You should have the car in gear. I know that my own car, which is this Kia Ceed, brakes on that are fantastic, and probably every other car I've ever owned myself has had a fantastic parking brake or handbrake or e-brake as Americans would call them. But on the Honda Jazz, you would think it'd be an improvement, perhaps going from a drum to a disc, but it's not. It's a massive step backwards. You wouldn't believe it, but this was a new disc just last year. But the caliper was seizing up, and the handbrake seems to be non-existent. So I'm just going to check I've got a full range of movement with the operating arm, or whatever you call the thing for the handbrake. Okay, so I'm underneath at the back of the car. I'm just putting an old knackered flat bladed screwdriver, and I'm just checking. Yeah, that moves nice and freely, so presumably the cable will pull on that nice and freely. So it doesn't go any further back than that. That's as far back as it goes, and that seems to be about the full range of movement. So from what I've read on the Club Jazz forum, what I need to do is give the brake a real good pumping, whoever misses, and then the piston will adjust itself out to the shoes. At the moment, as I say, the handbrake's off. the wheels turning. It's not a problem, easy to do with the hand. So I'm going to pump the brakes up with the hydraulic system, and hopefully this will adjust to its maximum extent possible, and then I'll adjust the handbrake at the console. And it's the same on this side. I'll not bother videoing it again. New caliper just fitted yesterday. Check the range of motion. Seems to be doing okay. It's actually the new calipers all round on this car. So that seems okay. The next thing is to fully pump the brake with the ignition on. I'm just going to check the brake fluid level, so it's definitely up there, clean and clear. So it's on. Well, that's the car running. I don't know how many times I'm supposed to pump this pedal before something magical happens with the back brakes, but I'm certainly doing it now. I wouldn't say that feels particularly solid, to be honest, unless the thing's still moving. Well, I've been fiddling about with the adjuster, so that's it off. I've done this multiple times now. This one I would say is slightly stickier. And then go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clicks. I mean, I've got quite a long breaker bar now. I can move it very, very slightly. I think that's about as far as I can go with it. I'll check the other side. Yeah, that one's moving easier, definitely. That's on 7, so I'll let it off and I'll maybe nip it up another quarter turn or something. Wheel back on. That's the handbrake off. I think to do now is take it for a test and see how well it performs or how well it doesn't perform. But I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. A reasonably steep hill. You maybe can't really see how steep that is, but it's quite a steep hill. Got the handbrake on. Foot's off the brake. You can kind of get a wee bit movement out of it. I'll do one more. Yeah, it's still a bit creaky. I'll brake. Handbrake on. Certainly it's it's squatting down at the rear end. So I think that's the best the brake's ever been. And that's a car that's not even done 50,000 miles yet. I've stopped on the same hill. Handbrake's on. Don't hear any movement this time in the gear. That noise in the background stuff. I've got a leak in the boot going into the wheel well. So I'll stop again on this hill. Yeah, that's. I don't think it's going to get any better than that, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that compared to the entire time that this particular car's been in ownership, which is about 4 years, I think now. So yeah, that's it's pretty decent. Bit of light relief, lots of snowdrops. So, head back on down at the village. Brakes seem to be fine. The roads are obviously fairly slippy because I'm able to get the ABS to kick in quite easily with the new calipers. So I'm not complaining about the braking performance. And when I let the car go in neutral, it's freewheeling nicely. Definitely gets a good bite now. Yeah, that's nice. I'll put a link to where I got the calipers. Anyway, back to the house.